Let's take a look at the latest actions by President Trump. Bob Cusack is editor-in-chief of The Hill. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Anthony.
The president's effectively kicked the Iran deal back to Congress.
Yeah.
So what's the reaction to Capitol Hill, on Capitol Hill to this?
Well, Republicans are basically saying they support the president, but the question is, what will the Republican Congress do? Will they move forward with sanctions, which would definitely kill the deal? Will they come up with a new deal that could be approved? I think they're going to hold hearings, and they're not going to get a lot done, certainly over the next 60 days, because they'll say they've got a budget deal and a tax reform. They don't really want to handle this issue. It's too hot right now.
Well, and diplomacy between the White House and Capitol Hill is not at an all-time high. If you look at the tit-for-tat between Senate Foreign Relations Chair Bob Corker and President Trump, Bob Corker said to the Washington Post that the president has, in Bob Corker's words, castrated Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. What is your assessment of the relationship there?
Relationships are very important to Washington, and Bob Corker is a key member of the Budget Committee. He's the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, as you say. He's going to need Bob Corker on tax reform. So this is a problem. This feud is only escalating. And remember, Corker's retiring. He's not running for re-election, so he's a free agent.
You don't think that this is some kind of reverse psychology, that Corker's trying to convince Trump to be more engaged in the diplomatic process?
It could be.
He said as much to the Washington Post.
Yeah, but I've never seen Corker use this strong language. I mean, he's such a pragmatic guy, and certainly, you know, Trump says he's a counterpuncher. Well, we've seen Bob Corker's now a counterpuncher.
Right. Meanwhile, as we mentioned, President Trump also took the major step of undoing a kind of a key part of Obamacare, ending these subsidies. What is he trying to do here, do you think?
Well, number one, he's trying to hollow the Obama legacy on a number of fronts, especially health care. He was very frustrated that the Obamacare bill did not pass. So he's doing, I think, what he promised to do, is to basically gut Obamacare. The question is, does he get blamed? Who knows? But he wants to have Democrats come to the table. That hasn't worked yet. I don't think that's going to work.
Well, there's no signal the Democrats are going to come to the table. So what is he really expecting here? Because he could end up with some pretty angry people who lose coverage.
Yes, it's incredibly risky for the president to do what he's doing right now, because it could backfire on him. I think this is a negotiating tactic. It's something that works with his base, that, well, Congress couldn't gut Obamacare, so I'm going to.
Are Republicans on the Hill happy that he's done this?
No, they don't like this. I mean, this is something that they sued. House Republicans did sue the Obama administration on these payments, saying they were not constitutionally, that Congress had to approve them. Now the question is, will Congress actually step in and put it in some type of bill?
And what does this do for 2018 and the midterm elections?
Great question. I think it could hurt some swing state Republicans. And remember, in a lot of these districts, people will lose coverage, and they're going to blame President Trump. But it depends on the PR battle. Can the bully pulpit blame President Obama and the Democrats for crafting what they say is a flawed law?
The next big hurdle here for the Congress seems to be the whole issue of tax reform. Yeah. How ready for that are they?
Well, we haven't seen a bill yet. We were supposed to see a bill months ago, and Republicans on Capitol Hill say just release the bill. The reason why they're not is that they know that when you release a tax reform bill, there are winners and losers, and the lobbyists are going to swarm and pounce on this bill. So I think it's going to be very difficult to get it through both the House and the Senate, especially the Senate. Now, Republicans in the Senate, Mitch McConnell's been meeting with centrist Democrats, including Joe Manchin, because, remember, John McCain voted against the 2001 and 2003 tax cuts. You can't count on John McCain to support this bill.
There are so many variables, Bob. One of the biggest ones looming in the horizon is Bob Mueller's investigation. We know that former Chief of Staff Reince Priebus met with him. What are we expecting on that front in the coming weeks?
I mean, it looks like this thing is wrapping up. I mean, if he's talking to the chief of staff, and there's been speculation that next would be President Trump, that Mueller personally would interview Trump. I think from a big standpoint, you've got to get this investigation done either this year, or you kick it until the end of next year, so you don't have the investigation during an election.
Bob, there are like 17 stories that we have to cram into this discussion. Thank you for your time, my friend.
Thanks, Alex.